Twitch. Welcome to Wednesday afternoon. Up next, we've got Dustin's Vinyl. Here's your host and the man with the music, Anthony Kapfer and Dustin Chafin.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey. That was the smoothest intro Jay has ever done. You know what I mean? It was like good. It was good, man. I think he's been practicing in the mirror.
Yeah. He mentioned me. He mentioned
you. He
got
us all in there. It was just one that wasn't like didn't go for the like monster truck thing.
Sundays.
He was just himself. It was organic. I have this thing. You know what this is?
A comb? No, what is that? Oh, a screwdriver?
No, it's the thing on the tripod.
Oh.
Yeah. That's what we do here. We're going to do a show and tell. What's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. So I'm a little tired. I just woke up.
Oh, no, that's okay.
Napped.
You know what this is?
That's a clicker to your sound thing. So your light.
Yeah, it's probably for the... Oh, no, it's for the camera. It's for my webcam.
Remote control. At least I was in the ballpark.
Yeah. I didn't even know what it was. I just saw it and I picked it up.
Let's just do that around our house. You know what this is? It's a Band-Aid wrapper.
Oh, somebody's got a boo-boo.
This is? Oh, it's the Zoom 6 where you broke the back, remember?
Oh, wait, did I ever replace that?
No. Oh. You've given me enough. You produced 2 albums.
Oh, man. It's just there taunting me. Just exposed batteries.
Well, as I lifted it, it broke. It fell off. So it's got gum wrappers on it. I don't know what's happening.
Oh, man.
So disorganized. So cool, man. It's good to see you. It's fun. I was on the road a little bit. We had birthdays.
Yeah.
We had both had birthdays. I'm the 11th. You're the 13th, which is pretty cool. Makes us almost Siamese twins.
And you were doing a weekend of shows for your birthday?
I was. Well, it was on the 11th. Then I left the 12th. So Leah took me to Musso and Frank's, which is like a legendary restaurant in Hollywood. It's kind of one of those places where, you know, the waiters are a little too old and they're wearing like red jackets, kind of like Dangerfields.
Oh, like Dangerfield. Chario guy.
Yeah. But
did they tell jokes?
They did. He did a type 5 when he gave me my check. Yeah, it was fun. It's like a prime rib, you know, fancy. A little lobster cocktail, you know, the good stuff, you know.
Nice.
Kind of meal you're like, can we do a payment plan? All right.
Yeah. Can I get this on Flex Pay? Yeah. We'll come back. We'll put the dessert on layaway. We'll be back.
Exactly. It was nice, though. And then, then went on tour with the great Nate Bargatze, which is fantastic. Nice. We went to Corpus Christi.
Oh, cool.
Fucking was, well, it ended up being cool, but it did not start out cool. So I'm flying American, or I like to call can I say cocksucker? Okay, cocksuckers. So I'm flying, and we're, you know, it's one of those things where it's like DFW is the worst airport on the planet. It is literally because it's just not set up for connections. Like you literally, like you fly into. Have you ever flown it before? Have you ever been in that airport, Anthony?
Wait, where is it?
DFW, Dallas Fort Worth.
Oh, no, I never. Okay, just driven through Dallas.
It's a horrible airport. My brother was an alcoholic and would drive the shuttle drunk. I mean, they have no, they don't check anything. Like it's just a terrible airport. And you fly into like gate D, and then you got to get to gate A, and you got to take a train and a choo-choo thing and a donkey, and it's horrible. And by the time you get there, it's like, of course, the plane's gone. And I was sprinting through the airport like a maniac, like OJ Simpson before he killed people. And I'm just running through the airport, and they leave 10 minutes early before departure. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? And I was like flipping out, and then this other girl comes in, and she's flipping out, and she's got a little Middle Eastern looking. And so I tell her, I go, you better stop doing that. It's like, she's like just throwing shit. I'm like, trust me, this is Texas. You need to stop right now. So I'm huddling this girl. I'm like, dude, really got to stop. And so then this old lady, she's 73. And meanwhile, it's closed. The door's shut. There's no way of us getting on the plane at all. And this lady, 73, runs, starts sprinting. Meanwhile, the door's closed. There's none. She's running, and by the time we can tell her not to run, she gets tangled up in the thing, what is that? The rope thing or whatever, that separates the lines. She gets caught up in that, and then just pops her head, man, and we thought she was dead, and she just like hits the ground, and it's like the time where you think like, how much humanity do I have? Because she's laying over there just knocked out, and she's somebody's grandmother. But meanwhile, I got a show to make. Yeah. So I'm like, she's breathing, right? Okay, so when's the next flight? Could we just get that? And everybody's just like, get out of here, dude. There's like a lady on the ground. And so then I got to go to a thing. And so I missed the first show, and it broke my heart.
Oh, no.
And I almost want American Airlines to pay for that show. Because I was just like, dude, like and they, and the thing is, when you're a comic and we're the only ones that are trying to get to something. Everybody else your uncle can wait. You know what I mean? Your vacation can wait, but it's like, we got a start time. And
deadlines.
So I just went crazy. So, we got there, whatever. Then we went to Twin Peaks, which is like, after the show, which is kind of like Hooters, but with a hiking theme and a lumberjack motif. So Twin Peaks, get it? So, so we drown ourselves with bad French fries and girls with checkered boobs, and everything was okay. But and then the shows are great. It's like his new hour is the greatest. He's gonna pop like it's in another way. It's his Bring the Pain. This hour is phenomenal. Wow. It's phenomenal. It's like the kind of hour you're like, well, I guess I could go back to school. It's like, what are we doing here? And it was so fun. I had a good time. I told a lot of stories about me and him, and because we had a funny history, and I used to drink a lot with him and stuff. And I remember one time we were at the Village Lantern, and we were there, and he was on the other side of the bar, and I was on the, how that place is like, it's a big bar when you walk in, left and right. So I'm on the right side of the bar area, drinking, being goofy. And then there was this guy that was messing with me, right? And he's just like, just kind of messing with me and stuff. And then I was pissed at him because the night before he was at another bar, and he tried to pick up my old roommate, Nick, like literally, not like hit on him, but pick him up.
Trying to lift him.
Yeah, because he's a little person. And so I was literally having a conversation. He's Russian, by the way. And I'm just like, dude, like, you can't be picking up. I mean, I had to have a conversation with a grown man about this. You can't pick up my roommate. You can't just like pick him up and shake him. He's not a doll. And then so he wants to fight me, and so he's Russian, so I think our country's on the line. So I'm like, okay. And he just hits me, and my cowboy hat flies across the room. I get the shit kicked out of me, and I'm just taking hits. But I'm like, I'm drunk, and I'm from Texas, so I get back up all the time.
Yeah.
Can't keep me on the floor, but when you're drunk, you can't fight. You're like, there's his head. It's like, so it's a horrible fight. And then I get mad at Nate because Nate's at the end of the bar, and he has no idea it's happening. He's like, well, I think Vandy's going to go all the way. Like, he's talking college football, and I'm getting my ass kicked. And so I get out of there. Notice. Yeah, I'm so mad. And I'm like, Nate, where were you, dude? Like, I was going to fight. And so we fight the whole way home, and we're roommates. So he's driving me home. And then I get out. I go, let me out, like we're married or something. And I'm like, and then he keeps driving like a bad husband. And then, so I get a trash can, and I throw a New York trash can at his car. And he stops. Shit. And then I get in, and I was like, I'm sorry about that, dude. He's like, don't worry about it, buddy. And then we just drive off, and all of a sudden we look to the left, and there's two cops eating donuts, just watching the whole thing go down. And I don't know if there's ever been a white privilege, but I think that was the moment where I experienced it.
That's great.
We do. We share real stuff here on Dustin's Vinyl.
Yeah.
So the random pull today, I'm just pretty excited. Kind of goes with the theme. It's releasing music after people are dead.
Okay.
And this is an album that came out. This album did not get a lot of hype. This is the Jimi Hendrix, Both Sides of the Sky. It's 13 unreleased songs by Jimi Hendrix. It's a really phenomenal album. It's a lot of kind of weird bluesy stuff that you didn't quite hear on a lot of the rock albums. Some traditional blues stuff, and Lover Man's really good. Train a Comin', which is a solid. Hear My Train a Comin'. It's got some Woodstock footage, stuff that they kind of just compiled a bunch of stuff that wasn't on albums, and they kind of put it on this. And the estate is kind of weird. They don't really do a lot of releases and stuff, but this is a pretty cool one that got released. So if you're into Hendrix and you want to hear something you haven't heard, because God knows, Foxy Lady's been played a million times. Or what are you doing some Hendrix? Because
I don't know how to play
do whatever, man. Just be I'll take it. That's all right, dude. That's better than we could all do. There you go.
I can't tell if I'm playing the Pearl Jam one or the Hendrix one.
We're not making fun of you. I won't let Jeff make fun of you anymore because he can't play it. So we're all excited that you're even trying. There you go. There you go.
You know how it goes.
I do. So, and today's going to be interesting because, I wonder how people feel as an artist. Like, how would you feel if, like, when you die, someone releases, like, an Anthony album that maybe you weren't that excited about? Maybe there's a reason why you didn't release it. How would you feel about that?
Yeah. I mean,
as an artist, how do you feel?
I'd be dead, so it wouldn't matter then. But thinking about it now, it would be nice if whoever was handling it cared about the quality. I feel like Prince probably, he knew he was putting stuff in the vault. I feel like there's a bunch of stuff that's labeled with his wishes.
Oh, with his consent. Okay.
But, I don't
know that much about it. We'll talk about it with Jeff.
Yeah. But with Jimi Hendrix, clearly he didn't expect any of that.
Yeah. So, even some of the songs on it kind of sound like a warm up.
Yeah.
Kind of like he was just warming up and somebody's like,
yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even know if he even knew some of this is recorded. So, I don't know. It's kind of like, throwing I don't know. Like, if you got a joke that's not ready, that, you have like a shitty set that, like, God knows I have many of those on video somewhere. And somebody releases one of your just awful bombs. Just that time, I just went off on the fucking manager or something. And it's like, I don't know if I want that released when I'm dead,
Yeah. Well, but you think about, like, the Mitch Hedberg Comedy Central special.
Yeah.
The unedited version of it.
It's great.
Is him bombing
left and right. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, and that's been released on the.
He was
the
alive when that came out, I think, right? When the bomb came out. He was alive. He was
when
alive.
the DVD came out.
Yeah. He was alive. So he had to have had some sort of, like, he's the kind of guy that was weird and Kaufman-esque, so he wouldn't have cared,
And it was so cool watching it.
I saw him bomb on Letterman. He tried to go through the curtain and stuff, and he started talking to the curtain.
Really? I don't remember that one.
Yeah, I don't know if that's. I think it's all in the set. I don't know. Maybe it's just footage from it, but I'll look that up. But anyway, so we're excited to start the show. We got a lot to talk about, and it's going to be a good one. So let's bring in our riff raff. Let's start this theme song that we made up right before we started. Let's go.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring in my music comedy brothers, Jeffrey, Paul, Adam Holtz, everybody. Yeah. Hey, Jeff, have you ever missed a gig because you couldn't get there?
No.
Oh, shut up. Like, you're better than us. Oh, Jeff, I got one. Jeff, you're old like me, so you get it. One time I was driving. This is before GPS, but the flip phones were still a thing, right? I was doing a Roger Paul gig. We all know what that is. And so I'm driving to Pennsylvania to do this gig, right? And all I have is a flip phone. And I don't know where I'm going. I'm completely lost. I had Yahoo Maps. Remember that? We had to print out like 5 pages of directions.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like looking at the Yahoo Maps and I'm trying to drive it. I can't do it. So I call my mom in Texas. And my mom and my stepdad over the phone have an atlas. And they're trying to figure out where I'm at. It's pouring rain. And they're like telling me, okay, well, it says this highway's here. And it's like, friggin' anyway, that's
That's
flip
that's
phone.
stressful, man.
Yes, parents. It really is. Gig is stuck when you. That's pretty awesome that you've never missed a gig. That's like who's that baseball player? Never missed a game. Or whatever.
Oh, Cal Ripken.
Yeah, you're like
Cal
the Ripken. You're like the Ripken.
Wow. He never missed a game. He had like his career was like 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where Jeff's headed, man.
Wow.
The Ripken of stand-up comedy.
I've forgotten about gigs and
yes, all the time, all the time. How did Jeff never miss the gig? I do it all the time.
I never missed a gig from traveling. I did have to cancel the day of because I had to go to the hospital because of kidney stones.
That's not the same, dude.
I said it's not the same.
Well, I got hit by a car on my way to a gig, and I made it to the gig on time.
Yes. That's a trooper right there.
Meanwhile, you're probably going to die when you're 46.
He's had internal bleeding for the last 20 years.
I hope it was a good set.
Yeah. The car was going fast enough to knock me completely on the ground in the middle of the street and fast enough for me to go to the hospital after the gig to get an x-ray.
Wow. I think it was Greenwich, right? I think you were coming to my gig.
Where was the gig?
It was my show.
Well, I had 2 gigs. I had one at the Sidewalk Cafe in New York, and then I was at Greenwich Village Comedy Club after. It was like a weekday.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. That one got canceled, so I went to the hospital instead.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. I just hope you know both those clubs are not worth dying for. So it's only a couple of shows, the Beacon, Carnegie. There's only a couple of places that are worth dying for.
It's worth getting hit by a car for. Sure.
Yeah, exactly. He's gonna die. He's gonna 46. That's what I said it here.
Come on.
It's gonna be a weird show. I like it. Oh, shut up! You're gonna live to be older than all of us. You got those good genes. You're skinny, like naturally skinny. Jeff and I are fighting food all the time. Like you could eat like 6 pizzas and be that skinny. You'll be.
I had deep dish for breakfast.
Exactly. That's who you are. What's up, Adam? I heard you were in Hollywood, being all network. That's what I heard.
Yeah, over at CBS.
Wow, CBS. Can you put in a word for me?
I just love saying that.
Yeah.
CBS. Yeah. So what'd you do over there?
So we were working on the set for Entertainment Tonight.
Oh, there you go. Very cool.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool being on the back lot and getting to walk through New York Street where they filmed a lot of the exteriors for Seinfeld.
Oh, that's fun. Very cool. So yeah, that is so weird when they do like New York, but it's not New York.
Yeah.
Just film it in New York. New York needs it right now.
Right.
So are they still using that set for other New York shows?
Yeah.
Oh wow! So they continuously use it. Okay, it's not.
Yeah,
like
they just swap out the storefronts and the signs and.
Really. It's always weird when they like say it's New York and you're like, dude, that's Toronto. You know? Right. Like when they do movies and stuff, you're like, that's not New York, dude. There's no way. Look how clear that's.
There are mountains in the background.
Yeah. Exactly. You're like, there's no way. So what was your week like, Jeff? How you been?
My week was good. Thank you. I'm good. Let's see. I was up in first. I had shows this weekend, but extremes. I was at the Jersey Shore in Seabright.
Okay.
And then I was up in New Hope, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. All right. How were the shows?
Shows were great, man. It was really, really good. Thank you.
You feel like you got all your rhythm back from like doing shows again?
I don't think so. I mean, New York is still very weird. It's still kind of like, I don't know if there are restrictions or not, but things seem to be closing earlier than normally. So it's, instead, I'm getting up, but instead of maybe doing 2 or 3 sets a night, I'm lucky if I'm doing 1.
Yeah.
So, and when you're trying to work out new stuff, which I'm trying to do, that's where I don't feel like the rhythm is 100%.
I kind of like that because I left New York for LA, and now New York's exactly like LA when it comes to stage time. So, because I don't want to be regretting like these guys are getting up 5 times a night. It's like, no, it's just like us. We're all good.
It's very, very rare. I mean, it's like maybe once a week I'll do like something where I'll get up 2, maybe even 3 times, but like it's not like it was prior to the pandemic.
Can you explain your background real quick? I know you got a new office and everything. Like what's in the wall here? What do you got?
Yeah. There? So back here, there's a drum head, and that's signed by the 4 original members of the Ramones.
Okay.
Now, if you see where my finger is over here, this is a signed picture from Barry Manilow.
Nice.
And if
that's what I like about Jeff. There's like these 2 worlds that collide all the time.
Worlds are going to be continuous colliding, Dustin. Don't worry. Okay. So now you see like there are 3 compact discs. One is, see where my finger is? That is the Doobie Brothers. Above it is Willie Nelson. And over here is Alice Cooper.
Nice.
And back here, like right where my finger is, that is the late, great Frankie Bonelli from Quiet Riot.
Okay. All right. That works. That's quite, I like it, man. That's quite a background you got. I like it.
Thanks.
I got this Asian thing. Can I say that? I couldn't get my green screen right. I'm still trying to get that cool thing that you guys have, but I need to take a full day to figure out how to download that. All right, so our first album we're talking about today is it's a comic that's old school comedian. She is somebody that I saw when I was a kid a lot on television and stuff, and a lot of the kind of you probably don't know who these people are, Anthony, but like Dinah Shore and Dick Cavett and whatever. Who else was she on?
I know the names.
Yeah,
I have heard the names.
Who's the guy that created Jeopardy?
I don't know who created it.
He created Jeopardy. What's that guy, Jeff? What's that guy's name?
Say it again. I didn't hear what you said.
The guy who created Jeopardy, the television show.
Was it
Merv Griffin? Merv Griffin.
Oh, Merv Griffin. That's it. Merv Griffin.
I didn't know Merv Griffin created Jeopardy.
Yeah, and Wheel of Fortune as well.
Oh,
so she was always on shows like that, kind of these old school shows. And then I was obsessed with the episodes of Laugh-In, which I think is one of the greatest TV shows of the '60s, and kind of tapped into all this stuff. And so she's one of those comedians. Phyllis Diller is who we're talking about today. And Phyllis Diller is one of these comedians that just had this kind of just fun kind of spark to her. She was wild and outrageous, and she wore these wigs, and she had boas, and and she was and she was pretty old when she like started hitting, like becoming kind of like Dangerfield. She's kind of like a female Dangerfield. She kind of hit it late. And she started out younger in career and stuff, and I think it was kind of like a radio thing. Was looking, they just kind of created this like she was like one of the first female stand-ups, and she did it on radio, and it was this thing that kind of like worked. Next thing you know, she's doing it 2 years, and then she's playing clubs like the Blue Angel in New York City and whatever. But Phyllis Diller is what I would call a perfect joke machine. Like the jokes, there's no fat, and it's also like. The more you think about it, it's kind of like jokes in the sense of like it's just for the laugh. Like there's comedians, like I'm working with Nate this weekend, and Nate is like, he's pulling from his life, and he's pulling, making fun of his kid, he's making fun of his wife and his dad and stuff. This is not that. This is like just somebody that got on stage and just bam, just and she would talk about her husband, who wasn't a real person. This guy Fang was not. Wasn't married. There was this guy named Fang that she just made up, but made these perfect jokes to kind of like basically husband jokes. And then she would do like getting old. Her old jokes are hilarious. And so I mean, Jeff and I try to play with that idea. And then you see her, you hear hers, and you're like, man, she just crushes it. Just like, and it's just set up punch, and just so much fun to watch. And then if she's not making fun of her husband or how else, then she's making fun of how dumb her dog is. I've never heard that. That's so funny to me. Her dog puts his butt out the window. That's how dumb the dog is. So she's this like craftsman of, jokes that are just like laugh per second. And so it's just so fun. And this album was live in Los Angeles, and I wanted to pick one where she's a little bit later in her career, because I feel sometimes that's great to see in a comedian, because they've done all the work to get. So the later ones are always pretty cool. That's why Carlin's was great, and like this is great, just because it's they've worked so many sets out, and this is kind of like their swan song or their last kind of thing. So. But I really enjoyed this album. I think it was fun. It's just represents just kind of jokes, and it is really, you can't help but laugh, no matter, and it doesn't feel that dated because it's so tight and perfect, a lot of the jokes. So even if it is kind of about stuff that's a little back in the day, you don't feel that as much, because it's such poetry in the sense of like a setup and a punch material. So, and I feel like a lot of comics don't do that anymore. Like everybody's trying to be a storyteller. Everybody's trying to, be edgy. Everybody's trying to do all these things. And I think somebody like this is just kind of, really the foundation of really what stand-up comedy is. And so I enjoyed this album. It's fun. She's making, the Madonna references and things like that. It's just, it was a really cool album. I really enjoyed it. And I laughed all the way through it. So Phyllis Diller is a beast, and people don't talk about her enough, and they should. I think she should be in that conversation of a great joke teller. So anyway, that's what I say about that. Anthony, talk to us. How did you feel about Phyllis Diller?
I liked it. It was really fun. It's like you said, it's just pretty much set up punchline jokes. Some of them even felt like they could have been street jokes, maybe. It was very jokey.
You got to understand, a lot of these people, they wrote them first, and then they became so popular they became street jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so because that's what happens, you know?
Yeah.
Comedians people are like, that's a joke. Like, no, dude, I wrote that in '68.
Yeah, and that could be it. Like the one about the where it's the Jewish guy's in confession with a priest, and he had sex with cheated on his wife, had sex with like a young woman, and is like the priest is like, "Why are you telling me? You're Jewish." He's like, "I'm telling everyone." So I don't know if she wrote that, but that's like definitely a joke I had heard. It could be a Borscht Belt kind of joke, but I think for the most part she wrote, most of them, or had her writers write them. But it was cool because it's like sort of, it's almost vaudeville. It's like
very vaudeville, yeah.
Vaudeville it's very early stand up, even though it was recorded in 2000 or 2001. So it's like the style stayed the same from those early days, which is it's cool to hear. But you can also hear like where some more modern comedians took some influences from her, style and delivery, and
even like some of the stuff you do. I see like similar and just a short punch joke,
and stuff that
no
is
fat on it. Yeah,
and the kind of like absurd kind of where it didn't happen, that kind of stuff doesn't.
Because you don't have any fat in your act or on your body. Like you're just completely fat free. But yeah, I just think she's a lot of fun. Jeff, talk to me, baby.
Well, first off, I mean, with Phyllis Diller, for our younger viewers, if you don't know her, you may recognize her voice. She is the mom of Peter Griffin's mother on Family Guy.
Okay.
So you may recognize her voice from there. I always liked Phyllis Diller. I think she would have like a cigarillo, like a thing that you put the cigarette in, and she had the boas, and like you said, and it was very, very glitzy. It always felt like it added a certain class and glamour to comedy. The album that you recommended, and it's sick how much just tag something, something. Yeah, especially on that old bit, which is like an over 15-minute segment on the album.
Yeah,
it's so funny, it's so good, and that was a good point you made. It does sound like a little bit like these street jokes, but she delivers them and they work. And the thing is, the bottom line is, I'm at the gym, I'm listening to this, and I'm laughing. And so it to me, it's funny. And I think she was always great. She always used to kill on those shows. Her and Joan Rivers, I still don't think get enough. But I mean, there really just seems to be like such a big gap between Joan Rivers and Phyllis Diller in terms of like recognition, how people revere them. And she was like, back as a kid, like, watching these old talk shows, she was just as funny, man. She was great. So yeah, I enjoyed going back and listening to this.
Yeah, there's a really cool documentary that came out about her, and I watched it. It's fantastic, and I think with her kids in it or whatever, it kind of like guides through. And yeah, the Joan Rivers one's amazing too. But the Phyllis Diller, I don't know if a lot of people saw it. I don't know what it's on. I think it might be on HBO, but it's really, really good.
Well, I'm going to look for it. Yeah. Or if it's on Showtime, I'm going to use the password.
Using my stuff, you sucker. Adam, what do you think about old Phyllis Diller? Have you ever heard of her before?
I did, and I enjoyed the album a lot more than I thought I was going to. Nice. I thought the start of it, the first 5 minutes or so, was just nonstop old jokes. Yeah, and I was just like, I hope this isn't the whole album. But
she's so good at them, though.
Oh yeah,
they're great.
What was it? She was the Madonna of the Geritol set.
Yeah,
was that the
opening one? I grabbed my crotch just because it's falling off.
Right,
that's hysterical. That's great.
But she it's a barrage of jokes. It's great one-liners, great punchlines, a lot of reference, a lot of celebrity references in there. And a lot of celebrity names I hadn't heard in a long time, too.
Elizabeth Taylor.
Right, Elizabeth Taylor, Zsa Zsa Gabor, Sid Caesar. There was... I
love the Sid Caesar joke. She goes, "You just ask the lady at the counter. Right. She'll tell you who you are."
There was a Willie Nelson reference, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, probably. Any Twitchers out there? Do you guys know Phyllis Diller? If so, do you think she's funny? Do you like her? It's like, we would love some input on Phyllis Diller.
Have you guys watched the show Hacks on HBO?
I haven't. I have heard it's great.
Yeah. So Jean Smart, who plays Deborah Vance, the main character on the show, I was just reading an interview with her, and she said Phyllis Diller was one of her main inspirations too. Especially after listening to this album, you could definitely tell there's it's influenced her character. I think she said her character is kind of a cross between Phyllis Diller and Joan Rivers, and Joan Rivers was influenced by Phyllis Diller also.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just fun comedy, it's just like, and I always feel, this is like, if I was teaching a clinic right now, it would just be like, these are the kind of comedians that, you should learn from. Like a lot of times people try to be like Doug Stanhope or Ragazzi or Chappelle. And I'm like, dude, that's way too advanced for you. Like, it's not, it's like you watch somebody like Phil Stiller, like this is how you learn how to structure a joke and how you get to the laugh. And it's just like, I mean, and nobody's getting laughs like this anymore. Maybe the closest person to getting laughs like her is probably like Dave Attell. And I think that's, to me, Dave Attell is kind of like an edgy Phyllis Diller. It's just like punch, bam, bam, and but not a lot of people are doing that, maybe a Tom Carter even, like guys like that, or Wendy Lieberman or people like that. But very few people that are getting laughs this quickly.
Those are very, very good examples. Yeah. Like again, tag, and then just when you think she's done, she's adding 3 more. Yeah.
Like bop, 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 bop. The machine guns. It's like machine gun comedy. It's like I can do that for like maybe 5 minutes or maybe 7, but it's like these people are doing it for like the whole act, and so it's just it's a lot.
Yeah, 45 minutes of just rapid fire.
Yeah, I'm good for like maybe 7, and then I'm like, okay, let me stretch out something.
How often is she turning over her act though? Because that's got to be like,
it's not a lot. It's kind of she like a very similar to Dangerfield, where it's like she probably doing kind of probably 30 minutes is the greatest hits, and then maybe there's like a new 15 or something. That's what I would think. From just being in comedy with guys like that. Because Stephen Wright's like that. He'll do like he tried to do a new hour. That didn't quite work out. But I think when I've seen him at best, it's like he, kind of adds in another 10 with the older stuff.
You saw him like working out in a whole hour?
I did, yeah, wow. In Vegas at the New Orleans casino. So, yeah. He did like some guitar at the end and stuff. But,
Hack.
but he was funny. But it's hard to listen to that sometimes. Like, even because I used to be a little set up punchy, and I still am, but I try to riff a little more than I used to, and to break it up. But I think, it's just like, it's interesting what your mind's conditioned to hearing. It's just like, I don't know. But like set up punch after a while, it's a lot,
It takes a toll on the audience too.
It can, yeah. That's why it's good to break it up with the story. Like I try to break it up with something a little, that's either ranchy or a story.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the stories or voices. Like if you change your tone, you do it maybe like a little bit of a character in there. She didn't do a lot of that.
Yeah, it's just one thing.
It is a little wearing.
Yeah. Dangerfield too.
Remarkable.
Yeah, Dangerfield too. It's like it's great for like 20, and then you're just like, okay, But
I'm gonna start doing an intermission in the middle of my set. Fills time and.
After 5, take a break.
All right, Adam. Anybody comment or?
Let's see. We got Holly Goody says Phyllis was a classic. Also love her style, and female comics never get the credit they deserve.
I agree. They really don't. I mean, she blew up in a way that is, not a lot of men blew up, as much as her. There's a lot of, comics that are still playing, Jersey. They're like, oh, I would love to have been treated like Phyllis Diller. But yeah, she's definitely, it's very few of these women get that to that level. It's like, we were talking about, Ellen DeGeneres, and, we covered her album, and, these guys are just as good as the men, it's just sometimes it's like, unfortunately, I also think sometimes it's kind of changed over the years, because I feel like, there wasn't a lot of female comedians. Now I feel like there's a lot. I feel like there's a lot more than it used to be. I feel like a lot of women are getting into comedy, and they're usually a little better women are usually a little better in comedy because they're a little smarter than us. So sometimes
they have more perspective.
They do. Women are smarter, and for the most part, usually, and so they can, kind of go somewhere where maybe the men are.
For her day, for the era that she came out in, she was more edgy than I think people gave her credit for it, and I think that's what I really liked about her. She wasn't typical. She wasn't really even that predictable. Like, you didn't expect what she said to come out of her mouth. Yeah, I remember as a kid.
I mean, her rhythm was predictable. Like, once, like Adam was saying, it's like she's doing old jokes, so you knew you knew another old joke was coming. You knew it was going to be like, when the setup, you kind of have an idea where it might be headed. But I know what you're saying. Like
like I remember coming home from school or watching TV, and like when I was like a little kid. And remember these shows would be on at like in the middle of the afternoon, and they'd have a comic on. I remember the Dinah Shore show. Yeah. I do remember that, and I remember Phyllis Diller on these shows. And again, she wasn't like your typical female comedian that was on. She was a little raunchier.
Yeah, she was.
And I enjoyed that. I mean, again, to me, I thought it was more authentic. I loved it.
Absolutely. And it's funny because Bob Hope kind of discovered her. So it's interesting because he's Mr. Wholesome, and like he kind of helped her kind of pop to the next level. They did a movie together, a couple of movies together. He kind of wanted her to be in and stuff. So it's pretty cool. All right. So here we go. This is the one we were waiting for. Jeff, bring us into the next segment of the show.
Okay. So this is an Adam recommendation. Okay. And I
told him about it, by the way. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, well, maybe that's why this one was an anomaly. Anytime Adam suggests something, I'm always like, oh, Adam, I don't know. And I got to tell you, we're going to be talking about the new Prince album, Welcome to America, and I had my reservations going in. Because sometimes like when music is released after an artist passes away, like let's use Zeppelin for example. When after Bonham they go to the vault and they release an album called Coda, and it was you could see it was all like stuff that could never have made it onto a real record. When this was recorded in 2010, and when I listened to this, I'm like, okay, first track I like, second track I like. I'm about 4 or 5 tracks in. I'm like, this is a damn good record. Why wasn't it released back in the day? I don't understand. I think it was an album that had lots of opinions on it, kind of like Sign of the Times, where he does have opinions. He's talking about, he's really still down on the music industry. What was the song Running the Game? Son of a Slave Master. He's really, really digging it to the music business. He goes after the A&R guys, the record label executives. One of the lyrics in it, which really exemplifies that is, how do you want that for a real dope beat? Another A&R guy lying through his teeth. I mean, he's not even holding back or veiling it. I mean, he's just coming out and being savage on this. And then the other thing that really caught me by surprise and could be my favorite track on it, and there's a lot of tracks I like on this, by the way. I liked how he also mixed things up, but I love the cover version of Stand Up, Be Strong, the great Soul Asylum song. I thought that was really good, and it's not, hey, we're going to do it note for note, arrangement for arrangement. I mean, he changed the style of the song. He opens up with a beautiful piano riff. It's a duet between him and a female singer. And that's another thing. I didn't know who these female singers were. A couple of these songs, I thought like maybe a song like Hot Summer, which seemed to like really stand out because of what type of song it was. I could have seen that as something maybe he written for another group that maybe he was promoting, how he used to do Vanity 5 or whatever they were, right? So I thought, maybe that's where he was going with that song. But I mean, there's a lot of really cool stuff. Like Check the Record had a really cool 70s soul feel to it. I loved Same Page, Different Book. Again, funny lyrics, but commentary on God and religion. And even when a song like Born to Die was a great story song where he's talking about this I guess there's a woman who she's traveling from coast to coast, because what was one of the lyrics in there was going from New York to LA, where she's talking what you have to do to survive, but no matter what, you're born to die. I thought this was a really good one. And then of course he really goes hard after America and politicians with the title track, Welcome to America. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I really didn't know what to expect going in. My expectations were kind of low, and I thought this was fantastic. I did make a note about the bass player in the group. I thought he held, the rhythm section really held a lot of this music together. Tal Wakenfield, I thought, was the standout musician on this. The bass on a lot of these songs was just really tremendous.
Yeah, great sum up. Yeah, you don't know what you're going to get with something like this, because, like I was saying earlier to Anthony, like, you don't know if it's some throwaway that the artist is not, comfortable with. But like you said, with the more like you get into the lyrical part of it, you could tell it's kind of a screw you to the, a lot of to America itself, the way Black people are treated and the music industry and things like that. So, yeah, it reminds me of actually, some of the songs, with the slave song and stuff, it's Son of a Slave Master. It's like, I know I think she's better than you do, but Nina Simone had Mississippi Goddamn, and that was like a big, that she did a song that was basically kind of going after Mississippi during, the race riots and stuff. And so sometimes an artist do that, and it kind of hurt her career. And so I think this is probably one of those albums that they were like, yeah, let's think about this one, but I don't know. I mean, I know he had a little control over it at 2010. I would think that he had, but maybe even himself, he didn't want to cause, I don't know. Like, I'm curious how at that point, Jeff, do you think, like, cause he became very independent with his releases and stuff. And so I wonder if this was like, there were anybody that made decisions.
You brought up a great point with that, with Nina Simone, and I was okay. So this album was recorded in 2010, and it's in the vault. And then I was thinking of something that I had wrote down. One of the great lines he writes down: "Truth is the new minority. Truth is the new minority." It's kind of like a double jab at politicians, and then he goes, "Hope for change." Everything takes forever. Now it's 2010. I'm thinking, well, Obama is in office, and does he want to piss off, the Obama and like just how fragile I think America was in the first term of Obama's presidency. So maybe he holds off on this. I'm just speculating.
No, I think that makes perfect sense. And one quick thing, then we'll go to you guys, but. And then, it's funny because you have all that kind of deep lyrical stuff, about the social commentary. And then the best part is track 9, When She Comes. So you just get this sexy Prince song. And you're like, it's talking about screwing. You're like, this is what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So then you're like, then it takes you back to like, the old stuff. So it's a lot of fun. Anthony, talk to us about the new Prince album.
I liked it a lot. I like a lot of Prince stuff, but I don't always like his albums all the way through.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure going into it how I would feel. But you're talking about like, albums, comparing it to other artists, that Led Zeppelin thing or whatever. I think it's cool that this was a full album. Like all of it was intended to be together.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like piecing together a bunch of leftover demos or whatever. This was like an album. And I don't know if this is true, but I was trying to read up about it. And it seems like he put out he was working on this and some other album that he ended up putting out in 2010. And
what was that?
So either he got more excited about the other project, or some of the musicians, I think it was the musicians that he was working on this one, they said that it's possible that because some of them weren't going to go on tour for this, that he decided not to release it.
But they were going to tour under this name, though. For this
but some of those musicians weren't going to tour. He did some of the songs too, I guess, like the opening track. I guess he played live, but some people thought maybe that was why he didn't put that one out, or he just got excited about the other one that he did end up putting out. So, but I liked it. I thought it was cool. It was like really kind of 70s funk.
Right.
influence.
It sounded very kind of Isaac Hayes sometimes. It would kind of have that feel to it, a little funky
like a song
shit.
like Check the Record. Yeah, definitely.
Very funky, very funky. I enjoyed it. Adam, what do you think, buddy?
Yeah, I mean it's a really funky album. I got to go back to When She Comes because
it's so cool.
I swear, like that. Prince's love and sex songs have been parodied so much that I started laughing. I thought this was a parody at this point. And I kept thinking of Beck, Midnight Vultures, or all those.
That one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I thought, like Jeff was saying before, "Stand Up and Be Strong," a fantastic cover, the Soul Asylum song.
Yeah, such a weird
liked.
choice, too.
Oh yeah. Although the Minnesota connection there.
Oh right.
right.
Yeah.
And I liked the. I mean, "Welcome to America" is a great song. I liked the closing songs, 1010, Rin Tin Tin, Yes, and One Day We Will All Be Free. I thought the album ended really strongly.
Yeah, it was it was a good listen, man. It was like I was in the car, and it was like sometimes it's like albums are good for car rides and stuff, and it's like it was like LA with lights and the palm trees. I was like, yeah, this is cool. This is like a very groovy driving album. So, but yeah, I liked it a lot, man. It was cool. And I mean, this is a win. And then the other one was kind of a win. What was the other album, Adam? It was that they released. It was Piano or something. It was just him and the piano. You remember that? It just came out.
Oh yeah,
had that one up. That was part of the vault. It was just Prince and a piano, and I think they recorded. What's it called?
Was it The Truth? Was that the one?
No. I think it's called Piano something. But it was basically Prince with a piano, and then I think they recorded it on a boombox.
Were there any songs on?
What's it called?
Piano and a microphone.
Piano and a microphone. Oh, yeah. If you haven't had a chance to listen, if you heard it, Jeffrey, it's great. It's so good. It's like it's just him, like just kind of. He does Purple Rain by himself. Yeah, he's got a piano and a microphone and a boombox.
He wasn't really good at naming albums, was he?
Oh, come on, dude. There's some good ones.
I'm fucking around. Was there any
Rain? Come on, dude.
Were there any songs on this album that you guys would like? When you went back and listened to it, like say, I just want to listen to this one more time. Like it really caught your ear. You really enjoyed it. Like, what would you say? Like, if you were the A&R guy, what would you put out as the single?
Anthony, what do you got?
I don't remember the titles. There was one that was kind of an upbeat. It wasn't the Hot Summer, but
Yes.
Huh?
Was it Yes?
I think so. It was this kind of
that was very upbeat. Yeah.
It had a guitar, like more prevalent guitar than some of the other tracks. Almost sounded like a rock song.
Could it have been Check the Record? It's kind of like a little bit like kind of like sexy vibe, little Darling Nikki-ish.
Yeah, a little bit. Let me see.
Check the Record was definitely good. Born to Die, I liked a lot for some reason.
Born to Die is a really good song, man.
Yeah,
it's a messed up lyrically, where it's a sad story, but it's a great, catchy song.
Well, that's the thing about this album. It had all those elements of Prince that you love, like like When Doves Cry. That Born to Die kind of reminds you of the darkness of that song, and then
it is Yes. It's Yes.
Yeah.
That's a single. That's a hit.
Yeah, there's a couple of big hits on here, so it's interesting. And I do like your theory, Jeff, about just probably the timing. He probably made that choice, and there's some articles on it. We'll read into it a little more. Any guys have any input on the new Prince album, Welcome to America? Any Twitchers want to come in on us with? Come in on us. That sounded terrible.
Also, have you guys heard this at all? Any of these songs on the radio?
Yeah, I mean, if there's still radio, yeah,
right.
I think they would. I think they would play a lot of this. I mean, we'll see. I don't know what the estate has. What kind of licensing things, but it's on Spotify, so I'm sure you could play it anywhere.
Yeah.
Anybody comments or no? about the purple warrior.
See, Happy Mischief says, listening now, didn't know it was a thing until today.
See, that's what we do here. We let you know what's happening in the music world.
Yeah.
Definitely worth checking out.
Yeah,
It's good.
Yeah, it's cool. I might buy it on vinyl. It's cool. I was thinking about it. It's a limited
You bought
edition.
it on vinyl?
No, I want to. It's a limited edition. It's about $50. It comes with a book and everything. It's kind of one of those that, it's like probably kind of, worth having.
If you go to Target, I think that they have it, and they have it like with different covers and different colors and different art.
And it's always fun, That's the thing. It's like, where else can you buy a new Prince album? So it's kind of exciting. That's the thing about vinyl. It's like it becomes this whole thing where you can just go out and buy the thing. And it's a limited edition, so you feel like you have stock in that. So it's good. So definitely get out and buy it, guys. Vinyl is fun. So, Adam, what do you got for us? What else is new? Any other dead artists releasing new stuff?
Let me say, I probably have some on. Oh yeah, I have some on my list. But first, so "Hot Summer" was the single that I think it was the premiere single, and they played it on The Current, which is a fantastic terrestrial radio station.
Oh, cool.
So it actually did get some airplay. All right,
nice.
So let's see. For new albums, we got the new Lorde album, Solar Power. So that's her third studio album. That's coming out this Friday. We got, all right, for dead artists, we got George Harrison, All Things Must Pass, 50th anniversary.
Classic.
He's a great dead artist.
Yeah,
he's really dead.
He's even better
really
now.
dead.
So yeah, there's actually 3 versions of an 8 LP, a 5 LP, and a 3 LP version.
Oh wow, that's exciting.
I'm gonna get the 8.
Right.
I have a lot of time on my hands now.
Let's see. We got Megadeth, Unplugged in Boston, from 2001.
Just what everyone always wanted.
Right.
Megadeth Unplugged.
Play some Megadeth. Come on, Anthony. You got some Megadeth? Just go like this. Just go like this.
Some power chords, Anthony.
There you go.
I don't know any Megadeth, but
They don't know either. They just go
I could
hard.
play that
Distortion
Metallica
and power
song.
chords. That's all you need.
Megadeth is pretty good. You guys like Megadeth at all? They're okay. I saw them at I think it was Slayer, Megadeth, and Metallica at Yankee Stadium. It was that was pretty good.
And Anthrax was on that as well.
Right. They were right. Yeah. That was a good one. It was the 4. It was called the 4 something. Yeah, that was good.
That's a good tour.
Yeah, it was fun. I didn't know much about the Slayer. I've been getting into lately. I feel like I missed Slayer. Like it's just not a band that I would think to listen to, because some bands are like, that's way too hard. Like I need some bluesy, but they're great. They're good. They're great gym music. I tell you. But that's the thing. I was I was at the gym. I did like 450. I was like,
Dustin, you should have been playing some Slayer before you got into that fight at the Village Lantern. You would have kicked that guy's ass.
Oh, dude, yeah. It's okay. I'm okay with a loss. It's fine. I was really drunk. I was really drunk, and I got back up. I never went down, Ray. I never went down, Ray.
Okay, De Niro.
All right. Anything else, Adam? Are we wrapping it?
I think that's about it.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you. This is a fun show. And so get the new Prince album, get some Phyllis Diller in your life, and keep supporting vinyl. This is a great show, guys. Good to see you again. And we'll be back next time, and we'll let you know what's happening on our Instagram, on our Facebook, and check us out. Follow us on all those mediums so we can interact with you and let us know what's happening in the world of vinyl.
Good week, everybody.
Good week, everybody. Yeah, rock and roll. Check us out, Anthony.
All right.
You want to do a song?
Should I do a whole? Yeah.
Yeah, do a freaking song, bro.
Do some Megadeth.
Do your hardest song. What's your hardest song?
Oh, my hardest song.
Like chord wise, like something hard and rocky.
Okay. You know what? This one's pretty hard. It's not metal, but
all right.
This is on my newest album. I Can't Believe It's Not Better, which is streaming everywhere now. Hypothetically, and what is the meaning of life? Tell me me yes or no. That was a trick question. Or was it? I don't know. I don't have all the answers now. How could I when I don't even have all the questions? Ironically, I complain that I do not get sarcasm. Isn't that just great? I want to be a positive person, but that seems so unlikely. Sometimes I think my mind is playing tricks on me, therefore I'm always right. People say that happiness is a choice, but I can never make up my mind. And I know I'm getting older, 'cause now I'm old enough to remember being younger. And now I reminisce about nostalgia, 'cause it used to be better. What if the good old days never happened, but we just don't remember? The future's running late. This trip down memory lane is taking us forever. I always hear people say that money can't buy happiness. What if I paid them off? Maybe then they'd finally shut up about it. Nothing would make me happier. Don't bother to explain. It'll just go in one ear and right out the other. I don't know anything, but I think therefore I am, or well at least I think so. I am so totally vain. I probably think this song is about me, even though it's vague. But enough about Carly Simon, let's talk about me.
That's what I'm talking about. Great job, buddy. That's right. Money doesn't buy happiness. Vinyl does. All right, everybody. Thank you. Good night. That's our show. Yay.